Hello, thank you for joining with me. We're in A Course in Miracles workbook for students, lesson 277. We are in part 2 of the workbook, section 6. Please read it in its entirety or listen to the YouTube video. What is the Christ? Lesson 277, let me not bind your son with laws I made. Your son is free, my Father. Footnote 85, your son here refers primarily to ourselves. Let me not imagine I have bound him with the laws I made to rule the body. He is not subject to any laws which I made, by which I try to make the body more secure. He is not changed by what is changeable. He is not a slave to any laws of time. He is as you created him, because he knows no laws except the law of love. Footnote 86, this means that we are not subject to the laws of this world, only to the law of love, which is that giving results not in loss, but in receiving. See lesson 344. Thus, whereas the laws of this world enslave us, the law of love shows us how we can only gain. And now we will turn to the course commentary by Alan Watson and Robert Perry. Lesson 277, let me not bind your son with laws I made. And this, we're going right into the commentary with Alan Watson. When the Course uses the term son in this context, with me addressing God concerning his son, the term usually refers to the whole sonship, which includes all of my sisters and brothers as well as myself. Your son, in other words, can be anybody on whom my mind is focused. So, when I pray, let me not bind your son, I am referring to my boss, my spouse, my friends, my family, or whomever I might encounter today. It's a good prayer to repeat often as we interact with people today. In our local study group the other night, one woman shared an insight she had. She said that she had realized that whenever she placed a limit on anyone else within her mind, if that person already was accepting such a limit within their own mind, she was reinforcing it. And as well, she was placing the same limit on herself. We can see this dynamic very strikingly in a situation involving parents or teachers and young children. It manifests quite vividly. The child will often manifest the limits that the adult sees in them, whether those limits are real or not. The fact that we do not see it so plainly with adults, however, does not mean that it is not happening all of the time. When we limit someone in our mind, we can be literally binding them with the laws that we made up. Your son is free, my Father, and each person we encounter today is that son equally free. We have all read stories of how the refusal of a parent, partner, or friend to accept the normal limits on someone else has enabled them to transcend those limits. Stories of impossible healings and so on. These are but elementary demonstrations of the power of today's idea. The limits the Course has in mind are not so much physical ones or even intellectual ones, but limits such as guilt and sin. When we believe a person is beyond help or beyond hope, we bind them with laws that we have made. We imagine an order of difficulty in miracles and impose it on those around us. There is no order of difficulty in miracles is the first principle of miracles. He, whoever he or she may be, is not changed by what is changeable. He is still the perfect Son of God as God created him. He has not been marred or scarred by anything in this world, because everything in this world is changeable. The Son of God has not been changed by anything that has happened to his body, which is changeable. A feather cannot scratch a diamond, not even a pile of feathers, not even an ostrich plume. We are being asked to remember this about our brothers. They have not been changed by what appears to be their sins or mistakes. nor are they slaves to any laws of time. This covers our persistent belief that a healing may take a very long time, for instance. They are subject only to one law, the law of love. Our brothers are not bound by anything except their own beliefs, and what they really are is far beyond their faith in slavery or freedom. Their bound appearance is a flimsy thing, barely covering the solid reality of holiness and love that lies beneath it. They cannot be bound unless God's truth can lie and God can will that he deceive himself. What kind of God would that be? What if today I looked upon everyone around me from this frame of reference? What miracles might happen? What chains might fall away? What blind person might see? What long-standing wound of the heart might be healed? Exactly that is our function here as workers of miracles. And if you will please close your eyes, I will lead us into meditation. Let me not bind your son with laws I made. Your son is free, my Father. Let me not imagine I have bound him with the laws I made to rule the body. He is not subject to any laws I made by which I try to make the body more secure. He is not changed by what is changeable. He is not slave to any laws of time. He is as you created him because he knows no laws except the law of love. Let me not bind your son with laws I made. Thank you so much for joining with me in this meditation today. Lesson 277. Let me not bind your son with laws I made. Thank you for joining. Love you.